Good morning, students. Today let us study about cloud computing architecture, a continuous series of Unit 2, and the subtopic we'll be considering today is categories of virtualization. This is the outline for today's session. As you can see, we'll be studying about virtualization. We'll be studying out other types of virtualization specifically. We'll be studying about desktop virtualization, server virtualization, and all which was not covered in the previous slides. Then we'll see certain assignments which are important from G2 exam point of view. So these are the virtualization categories we'll be considering today. We'll see about network and storage virtualization. We'll see about memory and desktop virtualization. We'll be seeing about application and server virtualization, and we'll be seeing about data virtualization. So this is the focus of today's session. So what do you understand the virtualization, which is already covered in the previous session, but let me just brief you today. So virtualization is creation of something that is virtual rather than actual version of something. Like for example, it could be a server virtualization which we are going to study today, a desktop virtualization, a storage device, or an operating system or network resources. With network resources, it's going to be called as network virtualization. So here you can see this is a virtual machine which is having all these things which we discussed. On the lower side you can see there are physical resources and you have the CPU, the memory and the data and the network interface card. So we have two virtual machines here, and this virtual machine 1 is going to have a part of CPU, that is CPU 1, and it is going to have a part of memory. So basically it is going to have a quota from the physical resources. Similarly, virtual machine 2 is also going to have a quota from the physical resources, and it is also going to take the network resources as well. So these are the types of virtualization we are going to focus on today. We will be studying about, as I said, we will be studying about desktop virtualization, application virtualization, the server virtualization, the network virtualization, and memory virtualization as well. So this is network virtualization. What it says is, it is a method of combining the available resources in a memory to combine multiple networks into a single or more than multiple networks, and you divide the segments of networks or create software networks between virtual machines. So you are combining the various resources that are available into a network, and you are combining various physical networks into a network, and you are dividing them into different segments, or you are creating something called as a software network between the different VMs. Like we saw VM1 and VM2, you are trying to create a software network between VM1 and VM2. So that is termed as network virtualization. So here VLAN is an example of network virtualization. VLAN basically stands for virtual area network, and it is basically a subsection of your local area network. So it is kind of a LAN only, but the thing is what you have seen is a wired LAN in your lab. But today we will be seeing about virtual LAN where no wires are placed, so it is going to be wireless, and the LAN is also going to be virtual. So this is created with the software that combines the network devices into one group regardless of the physical location. So your devices could be located anywhere physically. So they would be connected virtually. That is why it is termed as virtual network. So VLANs basically have an advantage that they improve the speed and performance of busy networks. VLAN can also simplify the changes and or add additions to the network. So this is an example depicting network virtualization where we have three different networks and the resources are combined. On the lower side you can see there is a grid which is combined, a cluster of resources that are combined and provided to the clans which are on the other side of the network. So storage virtualization, this is another form of virtualization, and it is also called as software defined storage, or it is called as virtual SAN, where SAN basically stands for storage area network. So this is again similar to the other virtualization techniques. So it is basically a pooling of multiple storage devices you combine form an array of SANs. Array is where a group of SANs are combined together and making them appear as though it is a single virtual storage device. No doubt there are many devices there, but it will look like it is going to be a single device. So virtual storage basically separates the storage management software from the underlying hardware infrastructure in order to provide more flexibility and scalable pools of storage resources. So there is a separation between the underlying software and hardware, and this provides a lot of flexibility and scalable pools of storage resources. This is an example of storage virtualization, and there also you can see there is the old concept of where array of memories are going to be stored. So here you have the server A, server B, server C and server D. So when these are separated together without the concept of virtualization, they are termed as standard configuration, and whereas with storage virtualization you can see they are combined together. Over there is a network on the lower side and there is a virtual pool which is basically combining all these things and provided to the client. So there are many advantages of providing storage virtualization. That is, you basically have redundancy. A lot of redundant storage array networks are going to be there, which will be useful for maybe faster performance. And then you have the ability to migrate data. You can shift data from one location to the other. You can also improve the utilization of the memory, and also you can management is going to be less. So with respect to standard configuration, the management is going to be pretty high, whereas with respect to this, the management is going to be pretty less with respect to storage virtualization. Then let us see about memory virtualization. Memory virtualization is where the process of aggregating and pooling of complete random access memory, which is termed as RAM, and these resources are clubbed from the network grid or clustered into a single memory pool. So this provides again greater memory capacity, and the disk drive also serves as an extension to the main memory. So the main memory is combined together, as we will be seeing in a diagram, and that will provide a greater capacity to the other disk drive, and the applications can run faster with respect to memory utilization, virtualization. So here you can see there are different contributors on the lower side. They are combined and formed as a virtualized pool memory on the above side, and the operating system is actually interacting with the virtualized memory pool, and there are various applications which are running on the higher side. So these applications feel that they are interacting with a single memory, but there are various contributors on the lower side. So this is where a single pool is provided. That virtual memory pool you can see is a single pool that is provided. Then you have desktop virtualization. The phrase which has come up is work from anywhere. This is practically possible because of this particular type of desktop virtualization, as it provides work convenience and also it provides a kind of security. So it will enable us to remotely access the data from anywhere you want to and anytime to any specific device which are connected to the virtualized layer. So it provides a lot of flexibility and feasibility for employees, and the data is safe because of the security that is provided, and it is secured as it is stored at a centralized location. So with respect to desktop virtualization, the data is going to be stored centrally. So this is an example where you can see a laptop is connected, a tablet is connected, and various other devices are connected to the desktop virtualization, and they are able to access the centralized data which is stored at the virtualized desktop cloud. So this is the form of desktop virtualization. Now let us see about application virtualization. This is basically a process by which a computer program is completely segregated from the underlying operating system. So segregation is basically to see that they are not aware of what registry changes are basically done on the lower side. So whenever executed, it behaves as if it is directly interacting or interfacing with the original OS. So actually it is not happening. So though it is not traditionally installed on the system hardware and can be isolated or sandboxed as per the convenience of the users and the application. So here you can see this is the virtual environment which is created on the top, and you have data, system services and the configuration. So the applications do not make changes to the registry, they directly interact, they can perform read-write operations with the different data that is available. The dynamic data libraries is also available on this side, and you have the other system services and the data. So it's like, for example, you can have Windows 2007 and Windows 2010 working together. So Windows 2000 will extract its data without making any change to Windows 2010 or Microsoft 2010. So this is application server virtualization. So this is termed as ASV. This is also referred to as advanced load balancing, and it enables most of the IT departments to balance the workload of an application in an agile way. So there are various applications which have a lot of workload. So to balance that, you have something called as advanced workload concept. So this basically spreads the application across the servers. Equally spreading is possible. That is why it is termed as agile way. and the servers across the applications are spread appropriately. So it also enables to manage the servers as a single instance. So there are no doubt there are various instances at the back, but will help in managing a single instance. So ASV gives a better network security compliance as only one server is visible to the public while the rest are hidden. So everybody feels that they are connected to a single server. So a reverse proxy network security application is also possible. So this is actually termed as a reverse proxy secure appliance. Then we have server virtualization. This is a process where you are basically dividing a physical server into multiple unique and isolated virtual servers by means of a software application. So a software application is basically needed for creating this basically isolation of virtual servers. So each virtual server can run on its own operating system independently. Though the host machine might have various operating systems or a single operating system, every virtual server will have a own operating system, and that is basically done by the means of a software application. Then we'll study about data virtualization. It's basically an approach of data management that allows an application to retrieve and manipulate data without requiring technical details about the data. So technical details would mean which particular format the data is stored at source or where it is physically located. So this will give a customer a single view of the overall data. So this is data virtualization. Here on the lower side you can see there are different types of data that is stored. It could be a PDF, it could be a Word, it could be Excel or various other formats which are sold. Now there are data consumers on the higher side which are consuming all this data. They are not aware of the format of the data or the location of the data. They are just trying to utilize the data. So this is the advantage of data virtualization, that data be in any format, it can be accessed by the higher applications without the knowledge of the format or without the knowledge of the location. So these are some of the assignments for today's session. You can just have a look at it. And if you have any queries, you can contact me at this specific email ID. You can also WhatsApp me. Thank you.